Good morning, and welcome to the fifth Living in the Fifth Dimension podcast. I'm your host, Naji Iman, with my co-host, Kintu Martin Cowart. How you feeling, Martin?
I'm feeling so excited about this day. And as you know, we're a little bit late because we had some technical difficulties, and I just have to let all that go and be present because I'm very excited about being here to share this message to the world about what it is to live in this wonderful universe right now, be part of life in this current current time. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the premiere of this show, and I'm very excited about supporting you in this endeavor. And yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful you're here, and I appreciate you speaking to that. We had these complications with the technology on this beautiful Mercury retrograde day, and not trying to blame Mercury retrograde, but it's doing its work. It's doing its work. So I just want to relax into that and talk about what this is while we're here, because we this has been quite the journey, you and me, since we started this, since day one with our meeting on Facebook and how that all went down, how it's all been felt so divinely inspired, and so one thing led to another, and here we find ourselves, and I have a sense that it's getting us more and more real. Like just doing this whole, I wouldn't call it experiment, but trusting the process, going with the
Hmm.
flow, using these moments to learn for ourselves as we share with others, teach others. So, what I wanted to start off with, and this is something that uh, I want to get out the way. I feel like I need to, right? And I want to talk about first what's not happening here, what I'm not here for. Um, so that I can talk about why I'm here, why we're here together. So first is uh, I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm not here to necessarily make a mark. Uh, I'm not here just because I'm not here to um, show off or be anything special. I'm just here to show up and share. And if it resonates, beautifully, beautiful. And if not, then like they always say, take what works and throw away the rest. And I always say, share. I mean, keep it for later if you want it. And what I'm here for is to share my experiences and to share in connection with you, and possibly share in connection with anyone else that may be listening. If that's something that we find could happen, there could be some resonance, could be something that could actually help all of us at one time. So that's what I'm here for, just to be of assistance along the way.
Wow, I got it.
Okay.
Let me tell
So
you why I'm not here.
okay, go.
I'm not here it's the same reasons. I'm not here because I want to become a podcasting superstar or I want to make a name for myself or any of those things. I'm here because I want to promote this message in the world. I want to wake people up to the truth of who we are and how divinely created we are with amazing superpowers and when we're awake and aware of them.
Hmm.
And so, on a personal level, I'm here because after hearing your story of your near death experience, I had a deep connection with you. And in that conversation, you were very clear that you decided to come back to the planet and you had a purpose and you were very clear about that purpose. And I felt in that moment, and this is how it started, that I had been called to help you bring that into the world. So my role here is to be your support, to be your quote unquote egg McMahon here, to so you can shine and you can share that message from the universe that you were told to share. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help you, support you in sharing that message that came to you so clearly from the universe about what it is you're here to do on the planet. That's what I'm here to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Thank you. I'm clear on that myself. So I appreciate that.
We got somebody here is asking a question. Is it from Metatran, fifth dimension? Many manners are speaking on this, but why now everyone's speaking about 5D? You want to answer that question?
Sure. Yeah. Metatron. Yeah. So first, I want to say that I don't consider myself a master. Uh, I consider myself a human being. The emphasis on the be, learning how to be more of who I am. But why everyone's speaking on 5D? Really, because there's a sense that the Earth is ascending, and we as human beings are actually ascending to a fifth dimension of existence, where the 3D before was everything was physical. Everything was about what's here now in the present, as far as what we can touch, what we can taste, what we can see. But then there's the piece behind everything that's actually all love, and God is everywhere all the time. This God essence, this this creative essence is everywhere all the time. And so we've always been used to this 3D, but sometimes when we're moving to these new dimensions and to these new ways of being, we have to get reacquainted with how to live in this way. And so now that we're moving to this 5D existence, 5D, the old ways can't exist, because it's about love, it's about connection, it's about knowing that we have these powers, if you will, to be able to, they talk about telekinesis and they talk about manifestation and think things into existence. This is really how we're supposed to be living. And so it's just a natural way of things to continue to transcend to the next levels and the next levels as we learn who we really are. And so people are speaking about it because it's happening now. This is coming now, and no one can stop it. There are powers in place that want to try to stop it, want to hold on to the old way, but it's not. It's not possible. That's my take on it. What do you got for that, Kintu?
Well, I completely agree. It's coming up now, and that's why we're having this show, is because it is many people are speaking, because many people are living in it. And what we have to what we realize is that we've always been living in the fifth dimension. It's always been here. The difference is that now because I think because of artificial intelligence and the fact that we have so much interconnection on the internet nowadays, that it's now becoming we're all becoming more aware of it. And as we become more aware of it, we begin to understand how to actually tap into that and use those powers to create a better world. So we're all being able to individually and collectively have these conversations to create the world of peace and prosperity that we want to create for ourselves, and move ourselves, the earth, from being sort of a difficult planet to becoming more of an ambassadorial planet in the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like really the ambassadorial part. Could you speak more to that?
Yeah, we have been, feel like we're like been a rebellious little teenager. We're relatively new coming into the universal scene, I believe. Even though we're billions of years old, I think in the bigger scheme, we're a relatively new planet. And we've gone through some growing pains. And we basically complained about everything we've been given.
Yep.
And in our complaining, we've tried to make a perfectly gorgeous, beautiful universe something other that's more to our own personal liking. And that's a very narcissistic way of looking at the world. But when we wake up and realize the universe does not need any help, it's doing beautifully. All we need to let go of our need to change it and just enjoy it and participate in the unfolding of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Perfect.
how I would. That's how I would frame that.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like there's so many levels to that what you just said. And but I want to speak to what you said about the universe is perfect, and all we have to do is learn how, basically, how to be in better relation with the universe, with the Earth first, and then how we operate in the universe, and then I would go even to another level and say, understand the universe is within each of us.
That's it. That's bingo. That's exactly it. The universe is not out there. The universe is in here.
Right.
And once we realize that that everything is a matter of resolving the conflicts within ourselves, then we resolve the conflicts that exist out there, because everything that happens within the privacy of our own hearts,
Mm-hmm.
which is really hard for people in the third dimensional space, at least for me, to understand. Because it's like, what do you mean in my own heart? I can't, what is that guy? Oh, that sounds so woo woo. But when you step into that field and you realize there's such a bigger space to live in, for me, it's realizing that I am the infinite space in which all creation exists, and I'm part of that creation as a human being, and that's a
Exactly.
beautiful place to live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's a perfect segue into why we're here.
Yeah.
So the whole so we've created this coaching program called Empowered Existence, right? And the empowered part is recognizing the universe inside of us, but what we offer is how to get more in tune, in touch, dialed in with that universe inside of us by way of, yes, practices, but also mindsets and just new awarenesses and connection with others, so that we recognize what's really important in this lifetime, in this life that we have here, each individual. Because so I'm of the firm belief that every individual that wakes up to this awareness affects many other people without even meaning to. We don't even have to say anything, really. It's just being out in the world, being around other people, and people we don't know, people we don't see. We affect by this awareness, this raising of consciousness. And so we created this so that we could help with that process.
Mhm.
And it shortens the length of time it takes to get to that place when there's someone to show you how to get there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me comment on one thing that for me that is, and I sent you a text about a week ago. I said, I don't know, I have really, I have probably studied under every guru out there in some way, whether that's Ram Dass or it's Eckhart Tolle or even people more close to me. But when I started working with you on this project, I have found myself in a higher realm of consciousness than I ever knew existed. I didn't live life like this before I met you.
Mhm.
So from a personal, if my life has been changed, transformed into this place of just joy of fifth dimension living, I'm here because I want others to enjoy what I'm enjoying.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I hear you. That's the Ed McMahon. That's the support piece you offered, right?
Yeah, I'm the Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
for those who for those who are may not know who Ed McMahon was, but he was a very famous support for Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show for years.
Mm.
And I have told Naji that that's my role here in this podcast is to be your Ed McMahon, the person that's here that you can lean into to support you and getting your message out in a good, positive way. Because I've experienced it. I don't have, I can just talk realistically about my experience of what I've gotten from you since I've known you in the creation of that program.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, and I'm super grateful for your feedback in that way. That when you told me that before, at first I was like, oh man, no. And then I had to just sit with it, because I originally I want to push away any kind of feedback that way, positive feedback. That's a natural way that
Hmm.
I show up, and I don't believe I'm the only one that shows up that way. But then I let it in, and I just heard those words. Well, this is what you've been preparing for this entire time, you know.
Yeah.
When we found one another, when we were connected in that way, it was obvious, that this is what we've been working towards. And so, thank you for that for being willing to even share that in this space.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
joy.
yeah,
My
absolutely.
absolute joy.
Yeah, yeah. And so basically how I came to this point, right? We talked about the near death experience. That was the like I say the largest catalyst, maybe even the second catalyst, because I was doing coaching full time 5 years ago, right? But so I've been a I've been a meditator, meditation practitioner for for going on 8 years now, and I had a really powerful awakening 1 year in of that journey, where I realized that I understood what meditation was, how to do it, um, what the effects were, and things like that. And so I went to the next level, I would say, and developed my practice in a way that had an awakening experience then when I've heard the first big message, the first powerful message that heaven was right here, you know. And that was big for me because I was raised as a devout in a devout Christian household, and I was always taught that heaven was not anywhere around, right? It was heaven's out there somewhere that we can't access it, you know. And so when I had this awakening that changed my whole perspective on life, the message I received. So I'm leaving the meditation retreat, and there were lots of golden eagles down here where I was at. It was in southeast Georgia, and golden eagles were in the area at the time. And a golden eagle flew over my car. I'm driving home, and immediately I just tears started flowing. Tears started flowing, and in that moment, I just started getting all these messages like, look around, look at how beautiful this place is. It's perfect just how it is and how it's always been. It's you who's forgotten how perfect you are. You can have heaven right here,
Hold
right?
that for a second. That second phase. It's you who realized how perfect you are.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
big, isn't it?
It's huge.
Particularly when we have that little ego in our head, that little shadow always telling us we're not good enough.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's the piece, man. Like the quiet place I was in, the still place I was in, I was able to actually hear that truth.
Yeah.
And that's when I first realized, ooh, I want to teach people how to do this, like how to get to this place, because to have that perspective from a place of grounded humility, from just a silent, still place inside of us is powerful. It's like nothing like it. So many awarenesses I get from that place. Not that I'm perfect by any means, but the awarenesses that come through when I need them are always timely, you know, because of meditation. And so that was the first part. And so I started working with that, learning how to deepen the practice. Different things happened along the way that were powerful, right? But then I I would say I got off course in a lot of different ways. But the main way was I wanted to try to find I wanted to learn how to survive. That was what it was, because I felt like I was drowning in debt and all this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta make some money. So I always had a skill to do construction, and I went back to it. I went because I dropped the coaching, went back to construction. I had to make some money, and I got in this mindset of hustle, grind, make some money, build a business, do this and that. And I tried, and the ego was trying to build it around, oh, I'm gonna help restore holy places, right? And so there was like this cognitive dissonance there, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna restore holy places, but I want all this money. I want all this money. Nothing wrong with money. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with money. It's not anything wrong with money. It's how we view money. It's our relationship with money, right? And for me, the relationship with money was for safety, or um, fear of not having enough, and all this fear of loss, all that. And so I had the near death experience right as I was building this business, and I lost everything. And I mean, I lost everything that was I was building the business out of this truck. Keeping it simple, and the truck and my tools and everything was gone in seconds. And the conversation, the experience I had with divinity was what really shifted my perspective. Like, this can be gone any moment. Don't waste any more time. Do what we sent you there to do. You know, I'll go more into depth when there's a lot more time. But it's basically like I got the message that I have a purpose here, and always remember it, and that everything I'll ever need is always gonna be given when I need it. Faith is it. Faith is the number one thing that I'm here to spread. Really, is how to get to this faith, this faithful, understanding, trusting space inside oneself. And that was the big one because that was the first time I had gone months without working. Like I was injured. I was injured. I was processing everything that happened. 5 months I wasn't really working. I would pick up little things here and there, and people would help me out, but it was I couldn't do much. But we still made it work, and I was supported by my living partner Dree, and my grandmother was really supportive around the time. But I had to just relax. I had to just relax. I couldn't hustle, I couldn't grind. That wasn't the time. And it became so clear to me. It was just so clear that more people need to feel this peace I feel having nothing. Having the simple things, the love, the support, the faith, um, the spirituality, the depth of experience, the presence, that. And so when I finally put the story out. I put the story out of my accident, like 8 months or so after, 7 months or so after. I don't even know how long, but it was months after because wasn't ready to share it, and the timing happened to be you and I were friends, um, and that was perfect, and it resonated with you, and you see, even that was the catalyst, right? Even the accident was the catalyst because it got that wasn't the first thing that got your attention. I know it was another one or two posts I put up, but that was like, no, we have to talk. And little did
Yeah.
I know that that accident was so important in that way
Mhm.
to even open the door, right? Just even open the door to our connection and our building something together. And so I just trust that if we continue to do this, meet here and meet how we do every morning and have our conversations and build it and come with the right intention, that we'll continue to affect things in a powerful way, and maybe along the way help someone.
Yeah, I love that. I want to go back to something you said that I think is so key that you discovered. Excuse me, you discovered in those 5 months of recuperation. And that is around Thomas Keating, one of my gurus, taught me a lot about centering prayer. He will say, his saying, he's known for saying that within each and every one of us is a place of pure nothingness,
Mm,
pure emptiness, where everything in the universe exists.
yeah,
And you going in there and discovering that place of pure emptiness is what I'm hearing. You have discovered that still point of pure emptiness that's within all of us. And it's pretty exciting. And what I'm hearing is that you want to share that with others so others can get into that space and enjoy it as much as you and I are.
that's right. That was a very, very good way to put that. Yeah,
Hmm.
and so bit by bit, you know, drop the personas we created around this idea of being full of everything else. You know, I really would like to help shift the perspective about this emptiness and how living in mystery is really the natural way. That's really what human beings were born into. We've tried to we've built all these constructs, not tried to, we built all these constructs around safety and sustainability. And of course, it came from the space where we were hunter gatherers and we had a hard time finding food and this and that. But if you think about it, that's where it started. And we created out of that space because there's something about that nothingness, there's something about that mystery that inspires us to do more.
Mhm.
And so I know we've made it to this place where it feels like we're safer because there's technology and there's all these things. And yes, there are things about it that's great. There's nothing wrong with the advancements we've made. However, like they say, it's good to remember where you came from.
Right. And one of the things that reminds me are the pyramids.
Mm, yeah,
We humans think we're on this chronological time period of where how things have gotten better, more sophisticated. In some ways they have. But if you look at the pyramids, the perfection and what went into building the pyramids, where did that come from? Human beings built it, but where did they get the know-how? From that empty space within themselves. They tapped into some big power and they created and there are other places around the world just like that.
yeah,
So when the human mind is having a hard time understanding it, yeah, just look at let yourself look at the pyramid, at the majesty of the pyramids, and think, how in the hell did that get here?
yeah. They were so in tune and in touch with that quiet place. They can still tap in to that stream of consciousness. I always remember when I was really, because it was a moment where I was a true ascetic in the world. I'd left everything behind and I was living on my own, um, as far as like separate from society. And one of the awarenesses I got in that time was these ideas we get. Anyone can get them. Anyone can receive these messages that we receive at any moment because there's a stream of consciousness that's available to everyone, and that's the reason why there's pyramids um, in Mexico and Egypt, and other places around the
Oh
world.
yeah.
And they're set up. We have Indian mounds, and they call them Indian mounds, but the the Muskogee tribes would build mounds on their property, and they're actually in the exact same order as the pyramids of Giza. They're in the same order, like with the stars and all that. Of course, it's not quite an energy center like the pyramids are because they're actually in alignment with constellations. But that's a source that anybody can tap into,
Yeah.
and it's still there. The stream is still flowing.
I remember, I forgot about, you reminded me of the Kolomoki. I don't know if you know about the Kolomoki Indian Mounds in Georgia.
I just know what you. I just read about them the other day. I was at REI here, and I didn't know there were more mounds here. All I knew about was Etowah.
Well, I totally forgot about the Indian Mounds in Georgia, but when I was a Boy Scout years and years ago, I don't remember where they are. I seem to want to think they're around Blakely, Georgia somewhere, but we went and visited the Kolomoki Indian Mounds. I'm pretty sure they were in Southwest Georgia somewhere, but I can't. I just remember I heard Indian Mounds. I thought, wow, yeah, I never put the Indian Mounds and the pyramids together. But what you're saying now was it wasn't. It was to help that local community connect with the divine in that time to guide, protect, and help them grow their community.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Exact same thing where they would direct the energy like in the pyramids. Pyramids they're just energy centers. And I say just. I don't want to minimize. They were energy centers for more wisdom and creative power. Uh, and like I said, it was born out of the consciousness that's available to all of us right now. So, what would the world be like if more of us could actually access that and get the truth of our experience instead of letting everything outside of us inform our decisions, so that we get clear on what's happening within and what's because that's anyone that can quote a scripture from the Bible that is really impactful. One of them is the kingdom of heaven is within you, right?
Yeah,
And that's you know that's the gist of it. So tapping into that heavenly experience, that blissful experience that you talked about, that you've been experiencing lately, is just taking that moment to really be present and be still and know that I am God, you know. And then the name of God, when I don't know what prophet, but asked what the name of God was in the Bible. You know, there's other stories I will refer to along the way because I've read and been a part of these different traditions. But you know, one of the prophets asked God, "What shall we call you?" And God said, "I am that I am." You know, and if
Yeah, that is the most powerful. Those are the most powerful two lines in all of Scripture. I am.
right,
I am that I am. I am. I am the divine. I am the Christ. I am the Word. I am knowing. Because we're not talking about I am Kintu sitting in this chair. We're talking about the life force in Kintu that's speaking to you right now.
I am all. I am Kintu. I am
uh,
that. I am that. I am it all. And yes, so the awareness is that know that I am God. Just know that I am, and that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And I'm not trying to mix those up for those Bible scholars, and you know, but I'm just making connections, right?
yeah,
And also I want to say this isn't a Christian podcast per se, but it's an open-minded podcast, open-hearted podcast where we speak about things in different ways.
right. I would agree. And particularly in the way I would define the way Christianity today in America is a dogmatic belief structure, something that I don't abide by. I don't think that's what Jesus was suggesting to us. Matter of fact, I know he wasn't suggesting that we create some type of church with a lot of laws and we begin to worship it. He was teaching us to love him, to love the world, to love each other. And the last thing I think that he would have wanted to have happen, or I know for sure, is for us to create some type of religious structure that separated us from God. And that's exactly what most I would say certainly any dogmatic religious, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Muslim, it doesn't really matter which faith you want to follow. But if it's tied to some type of creed or some kind of belief system that says you have to believe this or believe that in order to have a relationship with God, it's false. It's faulty information.
Right.
The only thing you need to have a relationship with God is a love for yourself and a love for God and a willingness to talk.
That's right. That's right. And the willingness to be silent.
Yeah,
And that's silent in different ways. Silent in the quietness of your own home or quietness in the space you're in, and silent when someone else is speaking as well.
yeah.
And I'm saying that because in order to learn anything, we have to listen first.
Hmm.
And that's the stillness though, because then we get to break down when we hear things. We have to break down what's really happening when someone's saying something. When we can be still and start to tap into the intuitive power that's in it's innate. But there's been so many things put in place to keep us from this innate power that we all have.
Right.
And so, but it starts to get way more clear. You can hear, you can see through things because heaven knows no bounds. And so when you start to know what's within you, then we start to notice it outside of us. And we only get better at attracting more heavenly experiences. And in order to do that, we have to see clearly. So it's innate. And the distractions that keep us from that place are so plentiful. They're everywhere.
Hmm.
They're everywhere. And and now is why we're here. This is why we're here to remind you that it's okay to to grow with the environment and to experience the things that we have created, the social medias, the television, the cars, the experiences, all this, fun stuff there is to do, yes, and also do it from a space of awareness. Let's not keep allowing these powers that be to keep us from our true essence and keep us from connecting with one another in deep and meaningful ways from the truth of who each individual is without the persona, without the mask, without without the so-called knowing everything. Because like I'm speaking from a place I'm not going to say I know everything. I'm just sharing what I've learned along the way. Take what works, throw away what doesn't. Keep it for later. Maybe you might come back and say that was good. That was maybe. But if more people did this and we can have open dialogue like you and I are having, then just think of what kind of growth we can experience as society.
Yeah, I love that. I want to ask you a question, Naji,
Yeah.
on the subject of fear.
Mm.
Fear does fear plays a vital role in this whole in everything. The energy of fear. And I just love, without me saying anything, I just like to hear your thoughts about the energy of fear in the manifestation of the world you want to live in. How does fear play, the energy of fear play a role in manifesting?
How does fear play a role in manifesting?
Because everybody out there is fearing something, I think. When you say, let go and just go be still, people, oh my God, well, how am I going to pay my car payment? What do, what do they do with that fear? Because the fear is real. I mean, they're feeling fear.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be honest. I had fear before this podcast. You know, and that's it, right? That's the truth of showing up in anything, because every emotion is valuable. But for me, when the fear comes up and there's something I have to do, I just hold it, and that's probably I want to give as short as possible an explanation of that. When I say hold the fear, I'm not trying to run from it. I'm not trying to avoid it. Now, the old me really wants to avoid it, but now where I'm at with this, getting used to the stillness, I hold it as if I can feel it in my body. So I get to the place where I feel it in my body and I let it be there. And if it's really heavy fear, I'll say hello. Maybe not out loud every time, but I'll acknowledge it. Hello, fear. Then I say, what are you trying to teach me here? What is it about myself you're trying to teach me here? And then it may have an answer, it may not. But when the answer is there, all I can do is just say, okay, thank you. And if the answer is not there, then I just allow the fear to be there, because what the fear is doing is getting me more and more focused, getting me more and more present. That's really what it's there for. If you think about adrenaline, even adrenaline, people do amazing things with adrenaline. It's based upon fear, usually some sort of fear, even if it's healthy fear. But adrenaline also pushes us to do amazing things.
Hmm.
I mean, all the athletes, perfect example, the Olympics. The athletes in the Olympics that do amazing things, you think they're afraid before those races and stuff? I'm thinking about the Shakira Richardson and people like this. Like when you're, I mean, all this big crowds yelling and you're about to take off. You don't know who's as fast as you. You think you know, but this day is different than yesterday. Anything can happen. But the fears what you see in their eyes when they're running, everybody's so enthralled with the eyes this year because the cameras captured great visuals. But what you see in their eyes is that's focus, and that focus is from all the endorphins from the fear. So fear is such a powerful motivator for us to get focused and be the greatest version of ourselves. So to have a healthy relationship with fear is powerful. But we have to allow it to be without running from it, without fighting it. Because if we try to fight it, now it's going to fight against us. It's fighting us back. And that's what the stillness is for. The stillness is important. Because I couldn't even listen before I can get that still. I couldn't even hear what the message was.
Yeah, I like that. And what I'm getting is that the fear wakes us up to be to the present moment to say, what's this fear about?
Yeah,
Exactly what you said. It's the fear that shows up often unexpectedly that says, hey, look over here. This is where you need to attend to this right here, right now. And it kind of points me to the door to where the solution to whatever the problem is and that I'm addressing in the moment. So I love that. It's that kind of physical sense that something needs to be addressed. And so we stop and we say, well, maybe if I'm getting ready to cross the street and there's a car coming, I'm going to stop and make sure the car doesn't hit me. Or I'm going to stop and it's something I can't feel. I look around and say, hey, oh, I don't really see anything to be afraid of right now. I must have been a thought in my head. Let's let it go. Or it could be, oh, I'm feeling fear because this bad thing might happen. So it doesn't matter. It's like what you said was you question the fear. Why are you here? What are you here to teach me? And that's a perfect response to fear versus a response to that's what I call a response for than a reaction to fear. Our first reaction is we want to run away and hide. But if we slow down just long enough to feel it and let it be there, then we can respond to it from the heart.
Right.
That's what
Exactly.
I'm hearing. I
Yeah.
just want to make you aware that we're at 40 minutes, just to let you
Mm.
know. It's our show, it's your show. We can talk for hours if we want to. And it's our first show, but I just want to make you aware of the time.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, we went over time, but that's what happens when we get into the flow like that.
Yeah, it's okay with me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm cool with beginning to wrap it up. There's one thing that I wanted to say about that last subject, just around fear, and that's around all the emotions. You know, you got the cardinal emotions, but then there's other emotions that split off of those. But fear and joy and sadness and anger and shame. You know, and then there's all the other ones. Anxiety and excitement and all this. The powerful piece that I feel like meditation and stillness has with understanding those emotions is is when we get really clear with breathing. This is there's another level to it because there's levels to the whole process. But meditation is a lot of times a breathing practice. Anyone that does meditation, it's always being aware of the breath and then being aware of the sensations and that kind of thing. So someone can believe they're very emotionally intelligent. Whether it be a male, female, whatever, however you identify. However, the next level to that of emotional intelligence is being able to breathe during the emotion, getting used to being working with the breath, and really getting used to what it feels like with each emotion, and then the sensations that the emotion creates, and then being able to decide, like you said, respond or not to whatever the emotion is, because we always want to respond to joy in a positive way, right? Because it's easier. A lot of us run from sadness, but there's so much. Each emotion has a purpose, and each one that, if we're with it, releases something else or lets in something else. So to be still enough to see it and feel it and sense it as it's happening, that is the next level of manifestation and creation in our lives. Because one that I feel is one of the most powerful ones that I would say a construct has been built around. Because fear is demonized as well, especially from men, right? You can't be afraid because then you're a wuss or whatever. But sadness has been demonized too because a lot of us don't want to feel sadness. It really, it can get real painful in there. But sadness is one of the greatest teachers. Like sadness in my life has been one of the greatest teachers when I allow it to come and teach me. And so nowadays, what I recognize is sadness will leave me if I don't breathe. It will literally, I stuff it like it just won't flow through. But when I breathe with the sadness and I allow it, then the tears can come. And then when the tears come or the grief comes, whatever that is, and then it's emptied out, there's always aha. There's always aha. I mean, like next level aha. That's gonna take me to where I'm headed because the sadness is telling me something, yeah, but it's also releasing something, making way for something new. And if we don't let the sadness be, the joy can't even fill the space.
Yeah, I love that. And I would say that for me is what you just said. Well, first, I feel the fear. That kind of wakes me up. And then if I begin to feel the fear, typically underneath that, there's grief. I'm afraid. I'm feeling afraid because I'm gonna feel something sad. I don't want to feel something sad. But when I let myself feel the sadness, like you just said, and feel that grief, then and I sit in that grief and I breathe into it, and then the flow begins to happen. I find myself in a state of joy. So all those emotions had to play in that little journey of getting to that place of joy and bliss.
That's right. Yeah.
Many of us in this work want to spiritually bypass we just want to sit and meditate and feel good.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. We have to
No.
go through the fear. We have to go through the sadness. We have to go through into the emotions to get to the sweet spot.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Just thanks for humoring me on that part because I feel like it's super important. And
Yeah, I agree.
we're gonna we're gonna do more of these, and so we'll get more into that as it goes. I'm seeing there's some Suji Nair. Glad to hear you, Kintu and Naji, into such deep inner consciousness, pyramid energies. Yes, I appreciate the resonance there, Suji. Yeah, yeah. That's a deep topic. There's a lot behind that one. But those who know, and there's always more to know. Because there's been a
Hmm.
lot covered. There's been a lot covered up there, but as more things uncover, it's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna um, tag Billy Carson on that. He's got a lot of great information around the pyramids. Um, and we got a piece on. We got a piece up from Fair Growth Freestyles. I would say there's some resonance there too. So thank you, brother. Thank you. So all right, I think we can wrap it up. Kenta, you said you wanted to speak to something.
Yeah, I'm really excited. As you know, we have an affiliate. We, just so you give us some context, we have a coaching program that we do through our coaching business. It's called Financial Heart Space. It's a for-profit business, and one of the things we do in that business is we coach, and that's what our business is. But we also have a nonprofit entity. It's called the Diamond Mine Academy, and we just launched something called the a new project in the Diamond Mine Project. The Diamond Mine Academy is an established 501c3 organization in the United States for saving the lives and moving LGBTQ, mostly Africans, to America. Is to save their lives. And the key is safely. How do we help people living in a country in a hostile environment? And one of the things we're really, really excited about is this new initiative of micro funding or micro lending, where we're raising money that we can either put the money toward a general cause and we will apply it, or for some people, this was so exciting is you can actually become a sponsor and a lender yourself. Let's say you have a small accounting firm and you would like to help somebody and learn to be an accountant. Well, here's an opportunity for not a whole lot of money to get to know someone and sponsor them and be part of that program. So I'm just excited about that. Just launched this past week, and we're really, really excited about it. So I welcome anybody to go over to our website, which is www.diamondmindacademy.org. You can also find our coaching program over there, but you're also going to find the Diamond Mine Project Relocation Program, where you can learn all about this new program, and we'd love to have your help.
Blessings. Thank you. Beautiful. And I think we're complete here, brother.
Anything you want to talk about for that you're promoting out there, Nazi,
I
in the
mean,
world right now? What's
I,
that?
well, you spoke to Empowered Existence, and Empowered Existence is the coaching program uh,
Yeah.
that that Kintu and I developed with a little extra sauce from me there, um, and it's a powerful thing. It's a so 6 month long for each person. It's cohort based, so there's a group of people that you work with, and in that group we dive deep into meditative practices, um, actual mystical experiences and things like that. We do this together. It's experiential. It's long term. It's supportive, and you get one on one coaching with me or Kintu. You get meditations once a week with me, a deeper dive into mindfulness, and yes, that is the rundown. I don't want to give it all away, but let's just say it's a very supportive, powerful, inviting environment, and I wanted to invite you to that.
Looks
So
like your camera just turned sideways.
see that. What is that? What in the world is going on here? Hold on. Okay,
What
time
do
to.
you say about Mercury in retrograde?
Yeah, man. That's wild.
I mean, we had to tell her. I said we're both doing this from our cell phones because we got onto our computers and it didn't work. So we went to the cell phone. Here we are.
Yeah, here
Well,
we are.
this has been an absolute joy being on here with you for this premiere, Naji, and I'm looking forward to many more. And I looking forward to people joining us in our coaching program.
Yes, likewise. Come on, come on. All right.
Okay,
All right. Peace.
peace. Thank you.
Mm.